Hi everybody, it's Amy from Little Farm Quilts. Coming on live tonight, kind of impromptu, I guess. I was just on the floor underneath my sewing machine trying to fix a cord. So that's why I'm kind of frazzled, trying to move things around to get you guys a decent view of maybe what I'm working on. Hi Trish. Trying to adjust the camera just a tad. You know, you can barely see my sewing machine, but that's okay. I'll show you what I'm working on as we go. Wasn't really sure what I was going to be working on, to be honest with you. I got lots of things going on. I was on call on Saturday. I'm a nurse, and I was on call. I ended up not getting any calls, but I ended up spending the whole day in my sewing room, and I finished quilting, putting the binding on Matt's Labyrinth Walk quilt. So that's all ready for my mom. And I almost completed a free motion quilting challenge that Angela Walters did a while ago on swirls and pebbles. So that's almost done. And that's on my long arm, so I need to get that off before my mom comes down this week because she's got a quilt to go on. So I'm trying to do that. We're just going to give it a few more minutes and see if somebody else comes on before I start talking too much, because I don't want to get into a lot of things. I'm going to talk a little bit about, hi Trish, my other Trish. The Christmas Sew-Along is coming up. We start next Sunday, so I'm happy about that. So I'm going to give some details about that. Some of you have gotten a kit from me. Some of you have, hello Purple Painted Lady. You've gotten a kit from me. Those that didn't were given instructions to pick 9 Christmas fabrics plus some white plus a stripe for a border. So those, I've got one of the packages here, one of the quilts packages here. This is the one I'm going to be working off of. So I got a white on white. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see on camera, but a white on white. It's kind of a white print on white fabric. That's for the background. And then we got the stripe to bind. That's what I got. I like stripes in binding, so I tend to levitate to them or to checks for binding. I just think they look good in binding. And these are the 9 fabrics that I chose for the kit. And maybe everybody can see them. Let's do it this way. So I'll put that back over here. So if you got a kit from me, the kits are, it's white on white, Trish. It's a white print on white fabric. It's really hard to pick up on camera. So that's something you see when you look at the fabric. It's basically a white screen print on white fabric. So I like it instead of just plain white, just because it gives it some interest. We start the Christmas Sew-Along next weekend, next Sunday, on our Facebook Live. We're going to start next week by cutting. I don't want to give away too much, I don't think, about the Sew-Along until we get going. I'd like it to be kind of mysterious and people chiming in. But anyway, we're going to go with that. So those are the fabrics. If you've picked your own, great. If you got a kit from me, awesome. Kits, I still have 3 kits left. They're $45 a piece. And that gives you enough to do your quilt top, your border, and your binding. So you would still need to buy backing. You would still need to buy batting. So just so you guys know, $45. Contact me. We start on Sunday. That being said, I'm still working on these leaf blocks for a table runner for my dining room table. I haven't really been working on a lot of them I have 3 of them done. I think I probably want about 8. So I've got this green one that I just showed you. And then I have this kind of rust colored one. And then I have another darker rust colored one with kind of moons and stars in them. The fabrics I picked out to work on with tonight are kind of okay, Trish, just let me know if you want a kit. Okay, I'll put one aside for you. Hi, Cindy. I picked this kind of green. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of a mottled. For those of you that are new to follow along with me, I have kind of a fabric stash here. Fabric that I've collected, fabric that I was given, things I get when they're on sale. And I just kind of stash fabric. And then when I go to from that stash. So that's what I did tonight. And then I picked like a darker green. So while we talk tonight, I'm going to make hopefully a couple leaf patterns out of these greens. The table that I have is actually, my daughter painted it with milk paint. It is almost a sunflower yellow. I don't know the name of the color. Maybe Trisha Coons can pipe in. It's a sunflower yellow milk paint. So I thought on the table runner I would stick with the greens and the rust colors because the table itself is already very harvesty yellow. So and then I'll probably do kind of a white border. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of winging it, but I'm going to work on those. But a couple things I wanted to do before we did that. So I've mentioned before that I subscribe to a quilt box that comes to me every month from Fat Quarter Shop. It's called the Sew Sampler subscription box. And I gotta tell you, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't know. I got this cutter that I'm using in one of my boxes. Miss Mustard Seed Yellow. Yes, Trisha, thank you. I knew it. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't remember it. This is a cutter I got in one of the boxes. This is a Olfa cutter. So I've been using it the last day or so. Not really sure what I think of this cutter yet. I normally have Fiskars cutters, so let me reach here for a second. Like this is a Fiskars, and I like that one. I have a Fiskars over here, like this, and I like that one. I have a very small old Olfa cutter here that I do like. But this bigger one, I'm not sure. I have to tell you, the jury's still out. I'm still using it, still getting used to it. I feel like the blade wobbles a bit, but I don't know. So I'm getting used to it. It's working well now. It's not that I'm making mistakes in my cutting or anything like that. So, and it came in one of those boxes. I think it was last month's box. So I kind of wanted to do an unboxing of this month's box, just so those of you that are thinking about getting the box, it is you can go month to month. You don't have to sign up for a year. I think it's like $28.99 a month, probably plus shipping. I probably should get the exact numbers for you next time I come on, but I believe it's $28.99 a month plus shipping. And I find it sometimes there's things in there I love and sometimes not so much. But you open it up and it's the Sweet as Cherry Pie. This is the September 2018 sew box. And in here is another cutter. So this is a little Fiskars one. It is exactly like the one I already have. So maybe this will go in my giveaway pile. I do have a giveaway pile started when I start doing giveaways. It's comes with some fabric, so it looks like it's a enough to do a project. It looks like. So this is Charm Squares, and there's a check fabric in here and a white fabric in here. So I like the check, and as I understand it, my daughter Ashley, she's not piping on tonight. She's sleeping, getting ready to go to work. She has already done working on the project from this box, and she's having a good time with it. So that ought to say something. The pattern to use that fabric in is called Cherry Picking, and that comes in the box. Trying to get used to this new camera angle. And a color instructions. So there you go. And the template that you need to make it is in here. Then you have basically a little booklet, a short explanation as to what's in the box and their retail values. Plus there's coupon codes down here if you want to go buy more of any item. And the Fat Quarter Shop has been doing, for the last, I think, 4 or 5 months, a barn block quilt. And this is block number 6. And this is directions for this. They're doing it in black, whites, and grays. I have not started these yet. I've been working on other things. But there you go. That's what came in this month's sew box. I think it retails for far more than what I paid to get it with the shipping, so it's a good value. And I think if you're a beginner sewer, this is really nice, especially if you're a beginner quilter, because it has small projects in there that are manageable. And camera's tilting slightly. Hold on, guys. It's got small projects in there that are easy to manage. So it works. I think it's a good value. There are times when I say to my husband, maybe I'll stop that box. I have other stuff to work on. And then I turn around and think I could give that cutter away, or if there's fabric that I don't have time to use, I can give that away. Things like that. So, and there's good teaching tools in there too. So I guess we'll keep that going for now. But I'm working on more leaf blocks. So as we sit here, I'm going to work on those. I know Trisha is, my sister Trisha is working on a quilt for a customer that she sent me a picture of earlier. That looks nice. She's doing a good job on that. I'm not sure I would have done that pattern, to be quite honest. She's doing, Trisha, it's called a Hunter Star, isn't it? Hi, Bonnie. She's working on that quilt. We batted back and forth about fabric choices and things like that, and then she ended up getting some fabric that wasn't evenly dyed, so it was, the color of it was varying quite a bit in the quilt, so she had to reorder fabric. But I think she's finally on her way with that, doing quite well. For those of you that don't know, our youngest is leaving on Thursday morning. She is going on an adventure to California with her boyfriend Jack, and says she'll be back sometime in December. But that's kind of exciting, kind of sad. I'm going to miss her, but she'll have a good time and send us lots of pictures along the way. We have another daughter, as everybody knows, that lives in Wyoming with her husband and 2 kids, so we're used to having kids kind of far away a little bit. It gives us an excuse to travel, but we still miss them not being so close. Let me scroll down in the comments here. I know, Trish, I don't like that she's leaving either. And my sister Trish, I think it's a good choice for a quilt. I think that the pattern is enough to teach you something. I choose patterns generally because I want to learn how to do something, and doing a pattern is the best way to learn those things. That's why I do the mystery quilts that Bonnie Hunter puts out every year, is because I want to learn new techniques and new patterns, and that's one of the best ways to do it. So I think it was great. Not one I would have done. I'm more of a modern quilter. I mean, most people that see my stuff, some of it's traditional patterns with more modern type fabrics. Hi, Debbie. And other things are just modern patterns that have really piqued my interest. And some things I've worked out on my own. So I have I should have brought it down probably. I have a snowflake, I call it a snowflake quilt, that I put together for last winter to have on our couch, in blues and whites, and I basically worked that pattern out on my own. Had an idea of kind of where I wanted to go with it. Probably should have written something down and really had a formal pattern that I could actually put for sale on the website or something. But That's where most of my stuff comes from. And I look at things. So I've got books here. These are just a couple of books. Like I get these from Missouri Star Quilt Company every once in a while. And it's not, I haven't done any of the patterns yet, but they have pictures like this. Let me get the camera angle right. That pique my interest and make me think, oh, I might want to do that. So I might, or this. It's kind of what I call eye candy. And it piques my interest and has me thinking about how to make a quilt out of it. Some of them have patterns for them, some of them do not. They're just made to inspire. And other people's color choices are different than mine. So Debbie Abbott is on and she's tuned in, and we were talking about this at work the other day. She's more of a traditional, what I would call a traditional quilter. She is totally in love with the Civil War type fabrics. Hi, Mary. And I'm more in love with the brighter colors and the more modern kind of quilt design. I think quilting is quilting. It's an art form, and whatever somebody chooses to, how they choose to express their art is totally fine. I've got another project lined up next to me. I pulled one of my fat quarter bundles that I've collected. I collect these as they go on sale. Trish, I did finish Matt's quilt. I finished the quilting on it, and I've got the binding sewn on the front side so that when my mom comes down on Wednesday, she's my hand sewer for the binder, and she's going to hand sew that down when she comes down while I quilt one of her quilts. So yes, that is done. As soon as she's done hand sewing that binding down, we will chuck that thing in the wash, get it washed, and get it out for everybody to see. And we will post pictures up on our website of that quilt as well. We haven't posted pictures in a long time, and I got to tell you, there's a reason for that. A lot of things that I've been working on have been gifts for everything from weddings to graduations to birthdays, and we will not post a picture until the gift is given. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. You just have to be patient. Pictures will go up, and there'll probably be a fast flurry of them going up over the next 30 days or so. And you'll think that I finished all these quilts in the last 30 days. I really have not. I have not. They've taken time, and I just have not been able to post pictures or talk about them, because just to honor, those that place orders with me, just so there's no chance that the giftee is going to know about this quilt ahead of time. So that's really important to me. So there'll be a huge flurry of pictures going up over the next probably 30 days, because I think everything's getting gifted. As soon as I see things getting posted of my quilts from the people that ordered them from me, I tend to post pictures at that time. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you this, the fat quarter bundle that I pulled out for my next project. My next project for me is a quilt along that Angela Walters has done for Craftsy, which you can view on Blueprint. Sorry, I'm adjusting my chair. Blueprint, Bluprint. It's a subscription service that you pay for a year. It helps me. I learn a lot on it so far. It's new to me. So she's calling it a Good Life Quilt Along. The pattern is this. It's called Botanica's Rainbow Quilt. I'm not doing it with the same fabrics that she has, because I have fabric here that I'd like to use. So that being said, I wouldn't call myself a fabric hoarder, but I definitely have a lot of fabric here that I want to start using. So I pulled out this Lillian Loom fat quarter bundle, and this is kind of rare because I don't know that I've ever, those of you fabric or curating fabric that you pull from for a project, that fabric becomes very important to how the project finally comes together. So for me to unveil the fabric that I'm going to use for one of my next projects is it's a pretty big deal. So this goes from peaches to pinks to kind of a mint. I'm going to try to spread this out like a deck of cards and see if I can get a good picture for you. Minty greens, it's got some grays, some pinks. I'm not really a pink girl, but I gotta tell you, I do like this fabric collection. So let me see if I can get it all up here to show you. All right, let's back up, move over the right way. So we've got kind of corally pinks, some white backgrounds with some prints, some navies, some grays, some minty greens. And that's the fat quarter bundle I'm going to use for that quilt pattern. So that quilt pattern has what is called Y seams in it, which I will admit I've never once done a Y seam. So, Debbie, I know you're a fabric quarter just like I am. And Trish, I am going to do a live with my mom. She will be here next Sunday when we do the live for the start of the Christmas quilt along. So we're going to set up the camera angle a little differently next week, and my mom will be in the frame somewhere. Kind of like, for those of you, I'm going to adjust the camera here a little bit. It just keeps wanting to move tonight. I don't know what the deal is. I need my cameraman, I guess. And here it's going to move again, I think. It's sliding. See, I don't have a camera guy tonight. You see the difference? He's upstairs relaxing. We've had a busy weekend. What was I saying? She's going to be here, so she's going to be here for the kickoff, which is nice. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to her coming down. Of course, with Courtney leaving, I may be a little bit of a puddle. We'll see how that goes. But we are starting. Hi, Alex. Alex is watching too. Awesome. So I may be a little bit of a puddle, but I think sewing will do us good, and my mom will be here and she will be in the frame. So I don't know how we're going to set it up, but we're going to start cutting on Sunday night. And we're going to start talking about how this lap quilt's going to come together, and we're going to have it all done by Christmas. So for those of you that might be a little frightened about free motion quilting, you are going to be free motion quilting on your own machines. I'm going to walk you through it. You're going to be able to do it. We talked about this briefly once before, and I'll talk about it again. Your machine should have some sort of darning foot. So I'm tilting this. This is the darning foot for one of my machines. I've got several here. And I'm going to hand quilt it on my basic sewing machine with you guys, not on my long arm. So just so you know. Trish, I bet you'll be a puddle. We both should go to Twisted Rail together or something. Here's my darning feet for my machine that I have here. I'm not going to do this on my long arm. Although it would go quite quick on my long arm. I'm going to do it here just like you are. And I'm not going to, I'm going to show you, it can be done. Trust me. I was scared to death to quilt my first quilt, and my niece Katie has the first one that I quilted on my domestic machine, and it's not perfect, but she loves it, and that's all that matters. So she has the very first one, I think, that I finished on my domestic machine that prompted me to buy one with a little bit bigger space because her quilt is quite large. And then since then I've graduated up to a long arm, so it's amazing how we go. But we are going to start next Sunday. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Hi, Matt. I was just saying that I needed my camera guy down here a little while ago because my camera keeps adjusting, but it seems to have settled down now. So anyway, that's that. My husband's joining me from upstairs. Hi, babe. I'm not doing much sewing. I'm doing a lot of talking. But I guess that's why you guys tune in, so that I can talk. It's my creative outlet. So I have that. What else do I have over here? I talked to Debbie Abbott about this a little bit. I have bee fabric that I got. So lots of tips that I give you guys. So we talked about the Fat Quarter Shop and the monthly subscription box. Also, Missouri Star Quilt Company has daily deals, and that's where I get some of these books that I just showed you, the Mod Block book. I got like 3 of them for $5. I mean, it's really inexpensive. And sometimes I get what we call layer cake, which this is a layer cake, okay? They are 10-inch squares, and there's 42 of them in here, I believe. So this one I got for a very reasonable price, and it's bee fabric. So you guys know I'm a beekeeper, right? So this has bee fabric on it, and it has some of the cutest things. So this fabric, can you see? With the honeycomb and the bees. And then you have some of this one with flowers. And I fell in love with it, and they had it on sale for like $5. So it was some ridiculous price. Usually their daily deals are like that. They're pretty decent price. And you get same prints in different colorways. So this is what we mean when we say that. So this is the same as the gray print, but it's done in this like mustard yellow. So I want to figure out what to do with the bee fabric. So I've got that sitting there. These are things that hit me yesterday. Get your daily deals, ladies. Fat Quarter Shop 2 has 24 deals. They do sell out, so if you see something you like, buy it. See, Debbie is commenting on here because she and I talk about this. She and I work in the same place, and she and I talk about where we're getting the deals, and we tell each other about the deals. So yesterday, I went to Joann Fabrics, and Joann's is not someplace I go very often. I generally get a lot of my fabric online at either Fat Quarter Shop, Missouri Star Quilt Company, or from Angela Walters, or from tons of other places. I did go to Joann's yesterday because I am running out of backing fabrics. So by that I mean there's a couple choices when you talk about backing fabrics, especially for large projects. So they sell 108-inch wide fabric for the big projects, the quilts. And then, or you can take regular cuts of 44-inch wide fabric and piece together a back, usually in 2 strips, either vertical or horizontal, and use that for your back. Yesterday, I sat in Joann's because my husband and I both had several 50% off, one regular price. Yes, we did wait in line forever, didn't we, Matthew? I did all my calculations to see if it was better price if I did the 108-inch fabric cuts, or if I did regular 44-inch fabric cuts and just got twice as much, so I could piece together back. $10 cheaper to do it, getting the 44-inch wide fabric. So I went with the 44-inch wide fabric. So needless to say, and of course when you're buying 6 yards of fabric, you tend to end up at the end of a bolt. And what Joann's does is if you take the end of the bolt so that they don't have to restock it, they'll give it to you for 50% off. So essentially I got more fabric 50% off just because I hit the end of a bolt. So I got, I think, 20 yards of fabric yesterday to use for backings, and it's in a bag down here on my floor because I have yet to fold it and put it away because we had some things going on here today. But I picked things like this is a nice cream color. I don't know if you can see. It's not really a white. It's a cream. I think it's coming up more white on camera. I got to check because if you followed me along enough, you know that I like my checks. And then I got a neutral gray kind of splash print. And what did they give me? More 50% off coupons. That's bad for a fabric addict. Once you get coupons, it's almost like you have to use them. But I have I think 3 quilt tops here lined up ready to go that I did not have backs for. So I really needed the backings. And Trish, I was going to go back today too. They had a water main break. Wow. Hi, Gina. So I buy backings, fabric for backings when it goes on sale. And I have to tell you, recently, the quilt that I made for my daughter Kayla that we took out to Wyoming, if you followed along, you know exactly what quilt I'm talking about. I pieced the back for that out of fat quarters off my shelf. So every once in a while, Joann Fabrics has fat quarters on sale for about 75 cents. And I go and I stock up. So fat quarters, all of you, these are fat quarters, right? And at Joann's, they come wrapped on cardboard. This is from a bundle, so it doesn't have the cardboard in it. But if you can get those for 75 cents a piece, for things like mystery quilts, for things like if you're playing around designing a block, fat quarters come really in handy because it's not a lot of fabric. So if you really don't like how it's working up, you're not investing a lot of money in a lot of fabric. But anyway, I pieced her back entirely out of fat quarters that I had on my shelf back here. I loved the way it looked in the end, because the way I quilted the front was very custom because it was for my daughter. It took some time. It was very deliberate. I planned it out. I drew some of the things on paper before I went to the quilt because I wanted it to be perfect for her. And I love the way that came out on the back of that quilt. But I got to tell you, piecing a back is just like making another top, because even by sewing fat quarters together, you have to line that stuff up. And if you have a bunch of fat quarters sewn together vertically, when you stretch it on a long arm frame, you don't want those fat quarters to start getting wonky and going to the side. You really, really don't. You want everything to stay straight and just very much straight going down the back of the quilt, because otherwise when you square up the quilt at the end, the back is all going to be tilted. And that, you don't want that look. That's not a good look. They can tell you that was an intentional thing and it was a design choice, and I'm telling you it's not. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a design choice. It looks like a flaw in the quilt or a bad piecing of a back. So I will say that piecing a back of a quilt is not my favorite thing to do. However, I do like the look of a pieced back. So even if you take 2 large segments of fabric and sew a stripe of another fabric across the back, it's a pieced back, and you still have to be very aware of how that stripe's lining up if you're doing it on a long arm. When you're doing it on your domestic, it's not as big of a deal, because what you do is you base a bunch of pins in it so nothing ever shifts. The difference on the long arm is that you're stretching one end to the other. And sometime I'm going to do a video on the long arm and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You're pinning the top of the back to a roller, and you're pinning the bottom of the back to a roller, and you're rolling those, and you're giving it some sort of stretch to have it a firm quilting sandwich that you're working on. And if you don't do that completely correct, it does not look good. And I don't care. I've seen people do that and then sell it off as a design choice. That's not a design choice. That's improper management of your back on your long arm. That's all that is. And it's very clear. And for those of us that have long arms, it's easy to spot. So piece backs look awesome, but they are a lot of work, and you have to keep track of that back. I have gotten on my long arm, and like I said, someday I'll do a long video. This is on my list of things I want to do. I got a sticky long ruler that goes the entire length of one of my bars on the long arm. And what I do is I take a erasable marker, dry erase marker, and mark when I load a quilt back where it is as far as markings, measurements. And then as I roll up every time, I make sure that back is still at those measurements and the front is still at its measurements. And that way it keeps it lined up. But you have to pay attention to it. You can't just willy-nilly roll these things on your long arm and just let them go if you piece the back. So generally, I don't piece backs. I think I've pieced maybe 3 in all this time that I've been doing quilts. This last few years, I think I've pieced 3, and every time I've said I'm never going to do it again. So there you have that. That's my spiel on backs. So when Joann's comes up with 50% off one regular price cut of fabric coupons, and we have enough of them to go stock up on backing fabric, that's exactly what I do, because I don't like piecing backs. They're a lot of work. And if you really care about somebody and you want them to have a really special quilt, then it's great to do that. But they're a lot of work and you have to pay attention. So that's that. What else am I working on? I showed you the bee fabric. I also, Angela Walters, I've mentioned her several times. She has another free motion quilt along. That's starting tomorrow. I'm not going to have time to start tomorrow. When she does these free motion quilt alongs, they are free. She posts the videos on YouTube, and that's why I just finished the one she did in July yesterday. So I did all the videos in one day, and it was fun. The next one starts tomorrow, and I ordered the quilt kit, and it's right here. So I have that sitting here to get ready to put together. I won't do that one either right away because I have other items that are going on my long arm. And but those are good if you're wanting to learn how to free motion quilt. I have to tell you, I learned by watching her videos, hers and other people's, but mainly Angela Walters and Natalia Bonner. I like watching them. I like how they teach. They're kind of very plain and down to earth, and it's not as scary the way they teach it. So if you guys want to prep for our next sew along and you want to look at some videos about free motion quilting, I definitely would do a YouTube search for Angela Walters or Natalia Bonner, or Leah Day does some as well. Or just search free motion quilting and they'll bring up a bunch of videos. That's how I taught myself, and I am self-taught. I do free motion quilting challenges because it teaches me skills and helps me hone my other skills. I also, as you guys know, I do a lot of drawing quilt designs, so things like this. You have to practice. You can practice with pencil too because it's muscle memory. So when you can't quilt, drawing is good. And I haven't drawn in a while, mainly because I've been quilting almost every day. But this is one of Angela Walters. It's basically a sketchbook, and she walks you through different designs. I'm trying to find the last one I sketched on. Oh, I did full page sketches of a sample block. And these were things that I sketched out as far as quilt designs. So that's kind of what I do when I'm not quilting, which lately is not very often. And work's been busy, so I'm not really having a lot of spare time there. I'm sure Debbie would agree with me that work has been kind of hairy lately. Just scrolling through comments, making sure I'm getting everybody. I really haven't done any sewing yet. Is anybody sewing? Or are you all just watching me? I know, I think Trisha's my sister Trisha's working on her quilt. I should be sewing, so I'm gonna just sew a couple things here. I've got binding here for the free motion quilting challenge. The cool thing about Angela Walters kits, when she sends them, they come with the front, which is usually a solid piece of fabric. So this one has this fabric. So you don't have to piece anything. It's basically a panel, which is nice. And it comes with the top, the border, any borders, binding, and the backing. So all you have to do is add batting and you're good to go. And I'm going to give this camera a little adjustment again. Oh, too much. I'm looking at my tummy. There you go. Okay. So if you guys want to learn more about a little bit hairy, is a good way to put it. I think that's a nice way to put it, Deb, huh? It's been a little crazy. We're hoping for maybe a calmer week this week. For those of you that don't know, we work in healthcare, so healthcare is a little crazy right now. But I think that's the way it goes sometimes anyway. All right, and we'll sew another stem. I moved my foot pedal just before I went live, so that's why I was having trouble finding my foot pedal. So I sewed the stem. So I guess I should sew my half square triangles. Tomorrow's going to be a very busy day, I think. Not at work necessarily. Well, we'll see about work, but Matt and I host a married couples group, board group, I guess, of people, and we meet weekly on Mondays. And we're cooking dinner, so it's going to be kind of busy tomorrow night, I'm afraid, too. I think tonight I might spend some time in the hot tub just relaxing here a little bit. I should show you guys, one of these times we should show, I do have fabric that I'm absolutely in love with. It's in my stash. It's from a designer named Tula Pink. Hi Crystal. If I didn't think it would be rude to totally get up and walk behind this camera and get it, I'd get it. So next time I will pull it out and I'll show it to you. She designs fabric there's a couple designers that strike my brain right now that really design in bright, beautiful colors. Cafe Facet is one of them, and Tula Pink is another one. I'm sure there's more out there. I can't remember who they are. But I have fallen in love with Tula Pink's fabric line. And I always said I would never, it's a little pricier than some other fabric lines. So I had always said that I didn't want to spend that kind of money on fabric. Well, then I did. I have 3 fat quarter bundles of hers that I am going to do something with as far as a quilt goes. And then I can show you some of it because I have some of it here in the form of hexagons. So let me get those out. So I bought some pre-cut hexagons of her fabric. Let me pull some of these out and show you. So like these are cat food cans. It's very eclectic, but they're bright colors. They are just pretty. This is where Debbie Abbott and I tend to go to the bright colors, I guess. Trying to show you this other one. So just really bright, rich colors. And I bought these pre-cut hexagons because they were one of Missouri Star Quilt Company's daily deals, and I liked it. Not really a pink girl, but I like these bright contrasts between the pink and the red. And see here, different colorways again. So this was in the green before. Let me see if I can pull it back out. When we talk colorways, it just means it's been same design printed in a different color. So same design, different color. And then there's some polka dots in here. And here again, different colorway of the nice geometric. So this one was pinks and reds. This is more of a teal and lilac and purple. And I like them. They're bright, they're pretty. Yeah, Debbie, you do like hi Tanya. Debbie likes the primitive kind of fabric. And I do like that fabric. I just, when I'm buying fabric for me to work with, not for a customer quote, because obviously customer quotes are different. They choose their fabrics. They give me like color choices and then I go pick out fabrics. But even then I tend to pick out bright colors and they'll tell me that's too bright, or we need to tone that down a little bit, and that's fine. Thanks, Tanya. Tanya's talking about my hair. I just had, I don't know, it has to be about 6 inches I had taken off, and I think I finally got almost all the color out of it. So this is another journey I've been on for probably the last couple years. I've been embracing my natural hair color, which, as you can tell, is gray. It has been like that since I was in my 20s. I've been dyeing, and I reached a point a couple years ago where it felt like I was doing my roots every 2 weeks, and I thought that's too high maintenance for me. For those of you that know me, I barely wear makeup. Even if I start the day with makeup, it's generally not on at the end of the day, and low maintenance hair. So Tanya, thank you for noticing the hair. Hi, Teresa. I'm trying to embrace the gray. I have to say that some days I'm better at it than others, although I'm not. I don't not like my hair. Thanks, Trisha. You have to say that. You're my sister. But anyway, some days I get the curls that I like, some days I don't. And those of you that are in my stage of life and suffering from hot flashes, hair perfect is a pain in the butt. But anyway, so that's where I am. So easy haircut. I can still put it back if I need to, and I think it looks good. So we'll leave it at that. We are, let's see, almost 50 minutes into it, and I've barely sewn, and all I've done is talk. So if you guys have any questions, you can pipe in. I think I've addressed them as we've gone, which has been kind of nice. We will, I don't know, honestly, if I will do any more video this week. So those of you that have been following along, usually on Tuesday or Wednesday, I would try to pull a video together, or I would do something and post it for you, a skill. If I do anything this week, I will be honest, it's a very busy week. We have lots of things going on. If I do anything this week, it may just be a long arm video. So that's the easiest for me to do just right now because I have something on my long arm. So those are always the easiest for me to do. Other than that, availability of a cameraman will dictate what kind of videos I do. So like I said, I have Christmas kits here. I have 3 of them. If you want one, get in touch with me soon. We start on Sunday. And I think that that's how we're going to end it tonight. If you guys have any questions, by all means, send me a message. I will be happy to answer any questions. I'm excited for the Christmas Sew Along. You know, I'm a classic New Yorker, okay? When summer's done, I'm ready for summer to be done. And when summer's done, I'm ready to work on stuff for fall and for Christmas. So I bought a bunch of mums and I decorated outside for the fall. We are getting ready to treat our bees and get them ready to go into winter. I'm ready to work on some Christmas stuff now. And I also decided that I'm going to get a booth at the Purple Painted Festival for next year. So, Trish, if you're still watching, I'm getting my application, my money to you this week. Hopefully you accept it, and we'll be good to go for next year. It's a 2-day festival. It is an awesome place for artisans to go, and I've decided that I would like in on that. So that's a year away. I'm working towards that. We'll see how it goes, okay? But you guys have a good night. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate all the support. I really came on tonight not thinking anybody was going to tune in, and then I would be on 15 minutes and I would be off. And here I am 50 minutes later and I'm still talking. So I really appreciate all the support. You guys are great. I'm looking forward to the Sew Along. Starts on Sunday. I can't wait. It might be a longer live video, maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on how it goes, how many questions we have, and my mom will be here live in my studio. So I'm looking forward to that, guys. I'll see you then. And meanwhile, look for a video. I'll try to get a video up for you this week, but I have to tell you, be patient. It's a busy week. Okay? Bye, guys. Have a good night.